Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. I just wanted to do a video that I said I would put out sometime last week on before what and how to invest for beginning investors onto Robinhood. So we're going to talk about some tips, some strategies, and talk about some stocks that I think that would be great for beginning investors. So let's get into it. All right, so the first tip and strategy for beginning investor is really focusing on just 2 to 3 stocks. I wouldn't advise beginner investors to go out there and pick 10 stocks, and it's just too much to manage, too much to track. It's like 2 to 3 stocks, and just focus on those 2 for the time being until you get a bigger hang of the game and the volatility and the ups and downs. With the 10, one stock might go up really well, one stock might go down, and you don't know why it's going down. You have to do the research. It might be a little bit too much for a beginning investor. So just stick to 2 to 3 stocks if you're starting out in this adventure. Next, I would point out a very great tip and strategy is to select a stock or an ETF. Here's an ETF that has very low volatility. So the idea behind this is that you're pretty much believing that it's going to be a guaranteed gains and there's not a lot of major ups and downs. So this is one that has very low volatility. It's one, as you can see, I have 3 shares in right now. I wish I had more, but I don't. And it's VOO, right? So for the year, as you can see here, it's up 18.43%. So it's pretty much earning year over year. And there's other ETFs that actually do better than this. It's just one I selected because it was on my portfolio. And what a Vanguard ETF here, if you see on the next screen, Robinhood actually even lets you know the volatility of the stock or ETF, that if it's low, medium, or high. So it's very clear. This one is very low ETF, and it pays a dividend 1.79 dividend. It has a market cap right there of 104 billion, right? So it's a pretty big market cap. And then Robinhood also, nicely tells you what other people buy after they buy this stock or ETF, right? It's not coincidence. Most of these other are Vanguard stocks. And the reason why I picked this one is this basically tracks and monitors the S&P 500, right? All the large and mid-cap companies that are in the S&P 500 stock exchange, so that how the companies goes is how this stock's going to go, right? How the S&P 500 goes is basically what's going to happen. So maybe you don't want to track the whole entire S&P 500 or the Dow Jones or the Nasdaq. Here's another great one. It's this is called FDN, and this basically tracks all the internet giants. So this is actually one of my top 3 stocks to buy for October. I just recently bought some shares myself, and this one, again, better gains than VOO, and it gets 39.30% for the past year. And the reason why I selected this is, you maybe don't want to do the entire stock market or that diversified. You're picking into one sector, right? So this consists of all the big internet giants out there, which, the FANG stocks, right? You hear the Facebook, the Amazon, the Apples, the Netflix, the Googles. These are major internet giants that do very well, right? So yeah, it tracks all the top largest U.S. internet companies. So it tracks more than just the FANG stocks. There's other stuff, companies in other, called holdings. Right? This ETF consists of other holdings, and it does pay a little, smaller dividend than VOO at 0.20. That's why I also like VOO, because it has paid gives you a dividend which you can reinvest into your portfolio. But this one grows a little better, right? So you just want to think about your strategy. But for beginning investors, a really good tip and strategy is think long term, right? Don't think about, okay, I'm gonna put 500 in right now, I'm gonna flip this to 1,000, right? So investing in these ETFs, it's not gonna happen, right? You're not gonna flip it to 1,000 the next day. It might take a lot longer and down the road type of mentality. All right, next tip is, I think after you invest in a very stable type of ETF or stock, is to invest in something that right? A stock or company or sector that you are actually very well aware of. I wouldn't just select any type of hot stock, or you're hearing people on Instagram or on the news talking about if you don't know anything about it, right? So right now, all the buzz in the stock market world are all these cannabis stocks, right? And if you know nothing about cannabis or what's happening with the legalization and what are the risks, right? Because it's very risky, then I would not jump into those things, those stocks. pretty much stick to what you know. Again, this is a Warren Buffett key. It was also part of my top 5 keys in the video I did last week for beginning investors. So really invest in what you know. And let's say you know Apple, right? There's a lot of people who have iPhones, iWatches, Mac products, and you've been using it for years since high school, grade school, whatnot. And it's a great stock right here. This past year, it's up 49.63%. It has a market cap of $1.09 trillion, pays even a dividend, 1.56. You see it's 52 low, 52-week high. Overall, it's steady growth, steady progress, and Apple, right? Like it just released its new iPhones, that's making positive impacts. Like you very much, again, if you know Apple, if you have those things, and you can be proud of like, oh, not, you're buying these Apple products, and you're also, owning the stock, which you might feel a little better about. So really much, again, great type of stock to invest in what you know about. Maybe you don't have Apple products. I don't, right? So one of the things that you might go to is you might shop at Costco a lot, and you know about the Costco and how it's going, right? Another great company, and it has earnings this past year of 45.03%. That's how much it's increased, right? So you're a big time Costco shopper, all about that type of retail industry, why Costco does better than the other stores or whatnot. So this, pretty much, again, this idea of investing in what you know, right? Or maybe you like finance, Visa is another great stock to invest into, right? Or maybe you're not big into finance, but like Visa is a credit card company, and you see this Visa logo everywhere, and that you own Visa, you have a Visa credit card, and for the year it's up 44.16%, right? Again, this idea of investing in what you know, right? And if you don't know any of those, right, maybe it's these household products from Johnson & Johnson. This is a really great, for the last 5 years, it's up 77%. Again, this is long-term gains. You're not going to flip 77% in a month, in a year. It's over 5 years time, right? But it does pay a really great dividend, and it's usually in a lot of people's top portfolios who want to grow through dividends, right? So, right, it has a lot of those healthcare products, personal care products in the drugstores and in the grocery stores, and that's maybe you're like a stay-at-home mom type of person who buys these items a lot, and you're like, oh yeah, like I see them everywhere, and so you want to get into, like, this is like one stock, but there's other stocks like Procter & Gamble's and other stocks in this type of health and personal care industry. So I mean, that's basically what I had for this video. Is for beginning investors, stick to one very stable type of ETF like the VOO or FDN or other Vanguard stocks out there, and then invest. And this is more for your personal interest, to invest into a company that you're more interested in, like I said, the Apple, the Visas, the Johnson & Johnsons, or maybe you're somebody else. You like Macy's, right? And you invest in that type of stock. But it's really much up to you. I would definitely pick more stable companies over less stable companies, and definitely for beginning investors, not to just this idea of turning 500 into 1,000 overnight, right? So that's pretty much what I got. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe.